Good morning, folks. Denzel Pratt, DCO at Pesky Solutions, and I just arrived at this customer's house. We have an issue with footsteps in the attic space. Went ahead and gave it a full inspection. Got on top of the roof to see if I could find any entry points, in the attic space. See if I see any spots where they could be getting into the attic space. And she said that she had issues with loud footsteps at night. So I was definitely double checking to see if it was squirrel activity. That's the first thing that comes to mind, just because a lot of times when there's roof rats, you barely could hear them walking, unless they're in the walls squealing or something like that. And so found the entry point for the squirrels, got a one-way door added to that location. Once I got in the attic space, I did see that she had some issues with rodents like roof rats. And I also added some, traps and, things like that to help get rid of that issue as well for her. And so right now I'm going around double checking to see if I got all those potential entry points. And I'm gonna take you guys along with me. So your main focus needs to be generally around the eave. That's where those animals typically get in. Sometimes they get into the crawl space. It just depends on what type of rodent it is. But today we were dealing with squirrels, and so I got this one-way door up here. It's gonna help to allow them to get out, but not back in. And the point of entry was right in that little corner. I don't know if you could see that little hole behind the one-way door. Going around here. Looks pretty good on the eave system. But let's go around back to show you guys exactly where the other spot was that I had a little bit of worry with. So this other roof return had a little gap. It's really tight space to fit in. Got that sealed up for, and they won't be able to get back into that hole. I did also seal up all the crawl space vents. Right now I'm about to jump on the roof, and I'll show you guys the gable vents here in a second. So we finally jumped up on the roof, and what I'm doing now is inspecting those ridge vents. I'm gonna inspect the chimney cap, and then also like any other vents that come out of the roof. I want to double check those gable vents, see if I see any sign of entry. So a lot of times, if those ridge vents are raised up, we'll get bats and sometimes even rodents getting into those areas. And that's why you need to double check to see if there's any possible entry points. And even if it looks like it's a little bit open, I like to seal them up still, just because if those squirrels can't get into their main entry point, they'll definitely try to dig something else out. And so something like that, I'll get sealed up. Just looking around, you could see where those squirrels tried to gain access right there, but they weren't able to. And so they kept on moving around, and they finally found a spot that they could get into. It's another little ridge vent right here. Just double checking, make sure nothing's raised up and it's completely sealed off. Looks pretty good so far. I'm gonna jump down here, check this last gable vent. See if I see any sign of entry. Oh yeah. So we see some spots where they were digging in those corners, but I don't think that they were successful. And look at that. Yeah, they've been trying to get in that little spot right there, but they weren't successful in getting in there. And that section down there doesn't go into the crawl space, so I'm not really worried about it. I mean, the attic space, sorry. I'm not really worried about it. Double checking behind this piece of wood to see if there's an actual hole. Nope. Looks pretty good to me. Here we go. Nothing of, major concern to me. The screen is still up behind this gable vent. I did check in the attic space as well, so that looked pretty good on the inside to me. Here's another view of that spot that they actually got into. And you can see where that one-way door is, allowing them to get out of the attic space, but not back in. I like to double check the chimney cap. which I checked that with the ladder because it's a pretty tall chimney and it's pretty sealed off. I didn't see any signs that something could be getting into it. So, yeah. No sebum trails, none of that, so it's a really good indication if anything was getting into the attic space from there. And also checking all these other vents to see if there's any sign of sebum trail or holes or anything like that. I didn't see anything, so I think those are all good to go. And then also you want to relay all this information to customers and have them relay information back to you to see if they still hear stuff or see stuff getting in, and then that way you can go from there as well.